What the hell? Everything's like off. Okay, now it's working. Oh. Oh, my chats are popped out. Shut down some windows. I think maybe I had too many damn tabs open while gaming. It was playing my own video. time to mess with settings. I don't want to hear caged right away. right out in the open. This sucks. Especially for the bots. There's a dude. slightly laggy. Let me look up here. Too low. Pulled it a hair too late. This is such a crap. Gotta keep clicking off screen because my touch portal is not working right today. Fortnite's lagging bad. Yeah, right. 60 upload. It's not me. Yeah, this lag is ridiculous. Oh, I might try something after this one. I'll end stream, try and get my NDI working. For some reason it keeps bugging out. Deal with one of them guys too. Yeah. Got really lag spiky when it was spawning in things. Enough weapon to deal with them dudes. Oops. Yeah, I want some more music. One of my old band song called Clusterfuck. think there was a pond over here before. Out in the open sand. Thermal scope. Here's one of my friend's bands. I'm gonna play it. Oh, I can't put the video. Well, guess the video don't matter. What is going on? It's in like the crappiest quality. I think my computer is telling me I need to restart it. What's up, Greg? How's it going, Greg? Oh, Greg. For some reason my, or Garg, sorry. I need to bring my damn chat back down here. Uh-oh, I'm going the right way. How you doing tonight, Garg? Hopefully doing well. Sorry I was a little laggy on that one. Sure. Run, Forrest, run. My dude's scooting. No. We're going to play my buddy's band. I'm not trying to play anything mainstream. I saw a llama out of the corner of my eye. There it is. Yeah. out. Yeah, I know, right, Am? How you doing tonight, brother? I'm trying to remember where Durburger is. And for some reason my damn touch portal keeps not syncing. It's annoying me. Where the hell is Durburger, bro? I don't remember where the hell it's at. Turn the music down a little. So how you doing tonight, brother? It's one hell of a delay, I think, going on. Yeah, I haven't seen you around in a few days. Yeah, I ended up falling asleep early. Just going to take a little nap and ended up just crashing, bro. I'm sure if Doc tried to call me, I would have woke up. Just saw some people. They see me. Now they can't talk to him. Come on, shoot, shoot, shoot. I screwed myself. I knew it. Too distracted. Yeah, I'm not the best at it either. I mean, it is what it is. See, still, camera not fucking syncing. This is my buddy's band I used to play shows with back in the day. I was like, bruh, can I play some of the music on stream? Of course they say, fuck yeah. And most bands that like signed on to my festival and stuff said I could, part of it is to always be able to use music in future projects and stuff. Not to make money. If I make money, then they get some. But they got paid back then. Yeah, I was going to try and hit Doc up earlier, see if he wanted to play. Yeah, something's up with my touch portal. It's not connecting you. Oh, I bet you I know what's up. Don't worry, where's this damn Dirt Burger? I forgot to look again. There it is. Yeah, I forgot what I gotta do. Destroy a structure. Damn smoker's cough. Monster scary vocals. And my dude Eric on drums is sick, dude, in this band. His blast beats were like annoying good because I'm a drummer too. And he could just nail that shit. Hey, look, a llama.
I will show you that.
They had another band I used to help manage called Big Red Bastard before this band. It was great, dude. It was brutal, brutal, brutal metal. What? I need to destroy a structure, huh? Maybe that down there. Oh no, this ain't the Dirt Burger, is it? See, if I don't keep my shit organized, dude, I'll screw myself. I'll hit the wrong key to get the wrong gun. Will this count as a structure? Nope. Whew. I walked right up to this bot, damn it. Need to switch these. Told me to destroy a structure with the Dirt Burger. What's a structure? I don't get it. Is this ball ever gonna break? I don't get it. What structure? Dude, I know, right? But they make it video game like to hurry it up to farm. There's a game, I can't remember the name of it, a survival game that's a little more realistic with the gathering supplies and building. Yeah, I saw Doc on earlier. I tried to invite him. I think he's playing with his nephew. Whoa! They want to land in a tree. Then I'd have to fall. You like my dude's big flat feet? Little army man. This woman still got you remodeling the whole house. Her house. No. No. There's a bot back there. Get out of this storm. No. Gotta find heals too. Turn it down a hair. I'm gonna have to hear. Yeah, you kind of get used to the quick spin arounds and shit. Uh-oh. Come on, peek. There he is. Aim sucks sometimes, man. So have you gotten to ride your dirt bikes much this year? With COVID? No. Oh shit. The boat you could do some pretty fun stuff with sometimes. He's like, fuck that guy. Oh, where was that at? Oh, right there. His teammate. And then he got sniped. Don't that suck? That's why I don't like this new spot, because you're all out in the open. It's hard to hide. That's why I played my army man, because he looks like a rock at a distance. If I don't move or hide up against a rock, people, like, I've fallen for it before. That's why I started using it. There's one time I couldn't find a sniper, and then he was just hiding right next to a rock, but like, and wouldn't move. I was like, God, sneaky bastard. See, like this, you run up, or like, oops, laggy on this side, where you can still shoot. But from a long distance, it looks like part of the rock. Because like these little rocks will be there too. Because then you can always like sneak like right behind it, and then as soon as the red X disappears. I try to practice a lot of sneaky stuff, old school. I'll go find my replay from earlier, one of the games I won. Luring the dude down, because I don't like to build, but I can. I'm just not quick and good at it like these other fuckers. So I don't build fight them. I bring them to my level, and it annoys them, and then they're out of their element. I still didn't break the... Where was that again? I don't remember where Durburger was. What? How did I forget already? There it is. I don't know why it didn't give me yeah, it did. Alright. I don't need to go way out there again. Let's go down here. Yeah, not all these other people are real people, because they added bots and shit to the game, because when Warzone and a few other games came out, and this game made some changes around the time, a lot of people left the platform, which made it hard for games to start up, so they added these fake characters in, which kind of sucked, but at least you got to play. And then people started coming back. These dudes are so badass live, bro. You have no idea. They're just, like, accurate good. Oh, shit. I don't have any weapons to be taking on fights. I don't know what this one does. I think it's so I don't take any fall damage. He said, no, bro. You're not throwing me. Find your weapons. Sometimes you can find really good weapons. Yeah, I got my sub elimination. Alright, throw that damn gun down. Hate this gun, man. Its accuracy is horrible. It's good for spray and pray though. Does well. That's consistent. You don't get much into gaming, do you, anymore? Or really at all? There you go. I needed to stop the music of it too quick. I have to tab out, man, since my damn touch portal is not working. Something's up. I need to reboot the network, I think. Been a couple weeks. They just did a firmware update and I didn't update it or reboot it. Take a peek up here. Can you believe no one landed down here this time? Did I just see a llama again? What? How is that dude not dead, bro? For real. I blew him up in a car. It's just this bullshit, dude. There was over 200 points of damage. Right. I like winter riding, but I don't even have a bike right now, man. At the end of last year, I had a lot of plans, man. And COVID this year. I got to learn how to build websites instead. Still learning. Which, if you ever need anything, bro, like and especially Amazon, let me know. Here, I'll send you a Discord link of my page I'm putting together for people to help start prepping. Actually, the Navy and military today were in a hearing. They're getting ready to carry out Rex 84, bro. They fucking straight up admitted it, too. They're, without saying the words. But they called it the Preparedness Readiness Program. They're getting ready to do it. So, we need to get ready, prep, like, fucking now, dude. I should find the video and play it. I watched it live all day today. I don't remember what character that is. And, yeah, that word, like, just went across a whole bunch of platforms, homie. Bad word. Why is it not? Jeez. Over here, it used to be my favorite spot, but they added that thing, and now it's screwed. So I've been searching the map for a new little favorite spot that'll work for squads so we can do camping runs. Like, what is this over here? I haven't seen that. Yeah, I have. There's a fishing spot. There'd be enough loot for me, but not a whole squad. Yeah, once you check out this page, bro, it's like a lot of good, cheap stuff. But, like, some good quality stuff, too. Yeah. It's coming. They said it. I mean, they said it. I wish I wasn't broke. I'd be able to at least get some stuff. I mean, I have the normal stuff, like my everyday living, and it's enough I can put together survival-wise, but not much stocked food. Oh. Play an Azagus song. What? Yeah, here we go. This is a band I used to play shows with back in the day. And I did some of the camera work in the video, but I'm not playing the video because it'll fuck with the game. I have updates and shit I need to finish. I've been building a website for like 5 days, so I haven't given my computer any kind of real rest. Yeah, I have the link in that. I gotta reload my page up. I shut my page and I'm about to take a break after this game of playing the game. I should play that part of the readiness. So what I'll do is I'll play the video from the readiness exercise they're talking about. It ain't even a readiness exercise. And they were like joking around and shit all day like it's some big funny joke. Like, you motherfuckers are literally legit talking about, like, coming and stomping a mud hole in America for COVID. They're seriously fucking pushing this shit, dude. It's making me mad. It's like the military, I don't know. It's like there seriously are people attacking America and Trump. Usually like to have 6 grenades on me, as you saw that. Well, I'm like pretty good with grenades. I can ruin people's day or builds. There we go. This one hasn't been up. Quick chest search. Nope. Let's see, people. Oh, yeah, I guess we'll play Forget Regret. Damn it, I need a sniper rifle. Someone set the whole damn forest on fire, bro. running around. This dude's Antifa. For real. This motherfucker's Antifa right there. Fucking dick. Burning shit. Bring it. Yeah, go ahead. Get together. Get together. Watch it. Because that's possible. Oh my god, yeah. You don't like Azagus? Or metal? Stupid ass music in the cars though. That shit'll get me hit for copyright. Fucking bullshit. Game puts in music that makes every streamer get in trouble. lot of bad words right there. Cheap bastard we'll go with.
Maps. Knowing where we are on this earth.
That is not the song oh. There we go. Wonder what old Doc's up to. You guys getting snow yet? Or any like shitty weather yet? I did send you a message earlier. No fucking gun, dude. Come on. Nobody has the damn let me see if I can. Wow, the Michigan hearing's still going on right now. There's the video from earlier today. There we go.
The Honorable Kenneth Braithwaite, Secretary of the Navy, General David H. Berger, Commandant of the U.S. Marine Corps, and Admiral Michael Gilday, Chief of Naval Operations of the United States Navy. I would also like to thank Diana Maurer, Director of Defense Capabilities and Management, and her team at the Government Accountability Office for submitting the requested statement for the record for this hearing. GAO is an invaluable resource to our work on the committee. Some of the issues that I would like to address and cover today are COVID-19 and its impacts on the readiness of the U.S. Navy and Marine Corps, the Navy and Marine Corps' pivotal role in countering great power competition, as highlighted in the National Defense Strategy, the Commandant of the Marine Corps' bold new force design and planning guidance, a recent provocation of Russian military exercises, massive Russian military exercises in the Arctic, and related to that, the role of the Navy and Marine Corps as they play an increasingly important role in protecting our strategic interests in the Arctic. Let me touch on these briefly. First, the impact of COVID-19 on Navy and Marine Corps readiness. Over the last few months, this committee has received frequent and productive briefings on COVID-19 and on its impact on military readiness. As you are all aware, COVID-19 reduced operations at Navy and Marine Corps depots, canceled or postponed vital exercises such as RIMPAC 2020, and changed the way in which we train our sailors and Marines. I'm looking forward to an update on these critical issues as it relates to the readiness of our Marine Corps and Navy team. Second, I'd like to address the 2018 National Defense Strategy and the Navy's and Marine Corps' role in responding to the return of great power competition. Released in 2018, the National Defense Strategy, I believe, is still very much a bipartisan document and strategy which prioritizes the return of great power competition, particularly with Russia and China, with China as the pacing threat.
So let's do that.
Thus far, in responding to the NDS's directives, the U.S. Navy and this committee have advocated for building a 355-ship Navy and has heavily and rightfully, in my view, focused these investments on improving and expanding our nation's submarine fleet, a key area of America's strategic advantage. Third, as part of the Navy team's response to great power competition, the Marine Corps, under the Commandant's new planning guidance and his Force Design 2030 construct, has keenly focused on how to address the NDS's pacing threat, China. Specifically, General Berger has zeroed in on transforming our Marine Corps into a slightly leaner but more agile force. Commandant's planning guidance calls for a revolutionary change to the Marine Corps, at least in the Department of Defense terms, and I commend him for his efforts on being one of the services leading in terms of trying to implement the NDS. But the Commandant's strategy is not without its critics, and I'd like the Secretary and General Berger the opportunity to respond to some of those in this hearing. I'd like to also address a recent incident. I was with the Secretary in Alaska where we saw a pure exercise of great power competition. the recent very large military exercises which took place inside the U.S. exclusive economic zone off the coast of the great state of Alaska. As some of you may already know, in late August, the Russians conducted a major war game near Alaska. Over 50 Russian warships, about 40 Russian aircraft took part in these exercises in the Bering Sea. It involved multiple practice missile launches, submarines. The New York Times reported last month in an article I'd like to submit for the record, a headline and byline, "Are we getting invaded? U.S. boats face Russian aggression near Alaska. Russia has accelerated its provocative encounters in the North Pacific, harassing American fishing vessels in U.S. waters, sending bombers towards Alaska's shores." I'd like to enter this into the record without objection, but I would like, Mr. Secretary, Admiral, an update on that, particularly the coordination that we need to improve between the Coast Guard, the Navy, and the Alaskan fishing fleets that were impacted by this. Finally, I'd like to have a broader discussion today on the Arctic, as it has become an emerging area of great power competition, and to better understand the Navy and Marine Corps' role in protecting the Arctic homeland, safeguarding the Arctic region's global commons, and as the Navy and Marine Corps do across every part of the world. In this regard, I'm hopeful to hear some positive news about a new Navy Arctic strategy, which this committee has been encouraging all the services to produce Arctic strategies. And I'm hopeful that we could also have a discussion on not only the support for building 6 polar-class icebreakers that our nation needs, but the discussion that the President started a couple months ago with his memo to senior national defense officials on where and how we should be basing polar-class security cutters in America's Arctic. And Mr. Secretary, you and I have had a lot of discussion on that. Finally, and perhaps most importantly, in this committee, I would like a prediction of who is going to win the Army-Navy football game that takes place.
The video should be at the bottom left.
That's going to be very important, gentlemen. Thank you very much. I'm looking forward to this hearing, and I'd like to now hear from my friend and colleague, Senator King.
Well, thank you, Chairman Sullivan. We find ourselves in very, very challenging times, and it's good that this committee's work has continued and will. I want to welcome the distinguished witnesses. Thank you for your service. We're looking forward to the testimony and opportunities to exchange questions today, and I echo the comments of Chairman Sullivan and offer thanks to Diana Maurer for her work at the GAO. I also want to do one other set of thank yous. This is probably the last opportunity that we'll meet either as a subcommittee or even as a full committee prior to some changes, and we're losing 2 colleagues, Senator McSally and Senator Jones, who served on the committee in a wonderful way and on the subcommittee as well. They were great public servants before they got here. They are great public servants while they were here, and I'm sure they have great public service ahead of them, but I just wanted to acknowledge each of them. The chairman's done a really good job of putting the issues kind of up on the board that we need to discuss today. Impacts on readiness from the ongoing pandemic and lessons learned along the way that will help us going forward. What role will the DoD play in vaccine distribution, and what plans are being made within the Navy family, Navy and Marine Corps, over vaccines and how they'll be deployed. Shipyard modernization plan and the looming threats that our bases face from the effects of climate change. I won't delve further into those now, and I'll save those topics for my questions. We want to help the department address what we need to do to be ready to operate in this challenging environment and respond and execute the full range of DoD responsibilities and missions. I look forward to your testimony today.
And I'd like to begin the testimony. Each of you will have 5 minutes to give an oral testimony. Your longer
and how do
statements
these other
can be
people have
submitted
such
for the
laser,
record
dude? It's
if you
bullshit.
So choose. Mr. Secretary, I'd like to begin with you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before I begin, I'd like to offer the Department of the Navy's condolences to you, sir, the loss of your father, a great veteran of the United States Navy, and our thoughts and our prayers are with you, sir.
Thank you.
In May
They're
of
just
1943,
at the hearing
American
talking.
troops, aircraft, and ships were sent
They don't
to the
really
Aleutian
show
island
anything.
of Attu to dislodge the Imperial Japanese troops occupying our American soil. These young Americans were dedicated and brave, but unprepared and under-equipped. The only thing that prevented the operation from ending in total catastrophe was the fact that that landing was unopposed. In short, we, the United States military, got lucky. But that should never be accepted as good enough for our fleet, our force, or for our nation. As Secretary of the Navy, I am determined to ensure that our sailors and Marines are never again sent into a situation without the right training, the right equipment, and the right leadership.
Flag,
Chairman
dude.
Sullivan, Ranking Member Kane, distinguished members of the committee, we appreciate your efforts to ensure funding stability over the past several years. This stability has enabled a greater focus on readiness across both services, from the Navy's investments in shipyards and aviation maintenance to the Marine Corps' modernization initiatives within the Commandant's Force Design 2030. These efforts are
Listen how close they sneak in certain stuff, and they're talking about fixing a ship, but then other stuff.
increasing our expeditionary deployment capabilities
Like they're
and
about
fleet
to
readiness,
deploy
even in
ships
the face
around the
of this
nation.
COVID-19 and other global challenges. More importantly, we are investing in the training, education, and resilience of our personnel. They and their families will always be our greatest resource. As I discussed during my confirmation hearing, I was concerned about the morale of the force and its underlying effects on culture across the entire department. Thankfully, I found many efforts underway to address these concerns, and in consistent engagements with our sailors and Marines around the globe, I have discovered our morale is better than I thought it might be. But it can get better as we direct the resources to make it better. We must prepare today for tomorrow, and we must continually adjust to the threat. Our existing fleet structure operates on the premise that we still live in a post-9/11 state, where NATO's flanks are secure, the Russian fleet is tied to the pier, and terrorism is our biggest problem. That is not the world of today. And so as the world changes, we must be bold, evolve, and change with it. Instead of perpetuating a structure designed to support yesterday's Joint Forces Command, we are aligning to today's threat. To meet the unique maritime challenges of the Atlantic theater, we will rename Fleet Forces Command as the U.S. Atlantic Fleet, and we will refocus our naval forces in this important region on their original mission, controlling the maritime approaches to the United States and to those of our allies. The Atlantic Fleet will confront the reassertive Russian Navy, which has been deploying closer and closer to our East Coast, with a tailored maritime presence, capability, and lethality. Also, in order to improve our posture in the Indo-Pacific, we will reconstitute the First Fleet, assigning it primary responsibility for the Indo and South Asian region as an expeditionary fleet, back to the capabilities and unpredictability of an agile, mobile, at-sea command. This will reassure our allies and partners of our presence and commitment to this region, while ensuring any potential adversary knows we are committed to global presence to ensure rule of law and freedom of the seas. We are determined today to make the bold changes required to ensure that our forces are prepared to dominate any potential battle space and return home safely tomorrow. As the great navalist, the 26th President of the United States, Teddy Roosevelt, once said, "A strong Navy is not a provocation to war, but the surest guarantor of peace." We look to you, our Congress, for the strong oversight partnership that has enabled our maritime strength ever since Congress authorized the construction of our first 6 ships, the mighty American frigates of 1794. So I'd like to take this moment to announce that the next Constellation-class frigate will be named for one of those original 6, a name selected by our first president, George Washington. The ship will be USS Congress, to honor and recognize the work that you and your staff do every day to support our sailors, our Marines, and the people of the United States of America. On behalf of the Department of the Navy, our Marines, our sailors, our civilian workforce, and their families that serve at their side, thank you for what you do to enhance our readiness I look forward to your questions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. Admiral, would you care to make an opening statement, sir?
Yes, sir, I would. Chairman Sullivan, again, my condolences on your family's loss. Your dad was not only a sailor, but a great friend of the Navy.
Thank you.
Sir. Ranking Member Kane, distinguished members of the committee, thank you for the opportunity to appear before you this morning with the Secretary of the Navy and as well Commandant Berger. My wife Linda behind me joins me this morning. To be effective, the United States Navy has to be able to carry out two critical functions. The first is sea control, and the second is power projection. And both of those missions are timeless. The Navy does not need to reinvent itself. The manner by which we carry out those functions and the equipment that we use to do it do change over time. But, as Admiral Nimitz said in front of a joint session of Congress in October of 1945, at the dawn of the nuclear age, he called those missions timeless. President John F. Kennedy, in the wake of the Cuban Missile Crisis, said the same thing. So for me, sea control and the capability to control the seas and to dominate the oceans is my primary focus. And with respect to readiness, that covers two areas. Readiness today, which I believe is the focus of this hearing, as well as our readiness tomorrow. And the budget decisions that the Navy presents to the Secretary of Defense really balance across three big areas that are aimed at those two functions. That would be readiness, readiness today and readiness to the future. That would be lethal capabilities in order to control the seas and to project power. And the last is capacity, the size of the United States Navy. Today, in the midst of a global pandemic, we have about 100 ships deployed, and we have about 40,000 sailors at sea. That ranges from the Arctic Circle to the Cape of Good Hope, from the Black Sea and the Baltics to the Arabian Sea, the Atlantic, and the Indo-Pacific. Our cyber warriors are standing vigilant watch right now as we speak. They are joined by our silent service under the seas that continue their constant patrols. I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about the civilian sailors who support us every single day so that we can control the seas. Those are our shipyard workers. Those are folks that work in production lines that keep our spare parts rolling to the waterfront, to our aviation squadrons, to our submarines, and to our ships. There are people that provide the Naval Academy, our academic institutions like the Naval Academy, the Naval War College, and the Naval Postgraduate School that continue to churn out the best and the brightest that this nation has. And our boot camp, which is operating at double its capacity. That said, the investments to keep that machine going every single day are also balanced against investments of the future. Think about hypersonics and laser energy. We just shot down a UAV with laser energy at sea just last month. We shot down an ICBM from a destroyer with a Standard missile just 2 weeks ago. So we are focused on the future and what we need to do to get there. Members of the committee, we are grateful for the support that you provide the United States Navy, our sailors, and our families. Again, I thank you for this opportunity this morning, and I look forward to your questions.
Thank you, Admiral. General Berger.
Chairman, thanks for the opportunity for us to appear this morning. And from one Marine to another, as we talked last night, just know that one Marine hurts, all of us hurt, so we're all thinking about you and your family. And for the ranking member Kane and the rest of the members, this is a good opportunity and timely for us to be here this morning to talk about readiness. I'm in the same spot as the CNO. I think readiness is job one for a service secretary. But it's also a balance, as he highlighted, of today's readiness, what we have to provide combatant commanders now, this afternoon, balanced against the force that we have to prepare for the future. And the cold, hard truth of it is, if you're a service chief, that every dollar you spend on a legacy piece of equipment or on trying to prepare something for this afternoon is a dollar that you have to
Where is
consider for the
everyone?
future. This is the tension that every service chief has always been challenged with. That said, I think you should be very confident. This subcommittee should be very confident that all your Navy and Marine units that are deployed around the world are ready this afternoon. They're ready for any crisis, any contingency. And we are working very hard to make sure that we're going to stay in front. There's no adversary that's going to overtake us. But readiness, I would just offer you, I probably will break precedent in my view of readiness, how I view it. I do not view readiness as availability only. It's more than just having a platform, a ship, an aircraft, a piece of equipment available. I think you expect us to be ready in terms of, are you manned, are you trained, are you equipped, are you ready for the threat? So when we think of readiness, we're talking about readiness in terms of ready for what, ready when. I'm also grateful for all the support this committee's given us, because 5-6 years ago, we were in a tough spot readiness-wise. We had rode the force hard, and we needed the resources to build our readiness back, and we are back where we need to be, thanks to the support of the members on this subcommittee and the Congress writ large. So I'm very grateful for that. And lastly, I would just touch on the same thing I think that Admiral Gilday mentioned, which is our readiness in a sort of unconventional way, and that's cyber readiness. Of course, that's offensive and defensive, and I would just highlight that because those threats clearly are not going down. In fact, they're increasing. But you would be very proud of the cyber mission force that every day is tackling the challenges that you wanted to tackle. And on the defensive side, I think we have all the means, the resources in terms of the training and the people and the equipment to prepare all our networks for the challenges that another adversary is going to pose. Well, in both cases, I think we're very focused on it, and that's going to be an enduring task for all of us. And Chairman, I yield the rest of my time to the topics that you want to focus on, sir.
Thank you, General, and I'll just begin. I appreciate the comments about my
One
dad.
shot.
You know, I come from a family
fucking
with a
shot.
long tradition of naval service. My dad accomplished a lot in his life, but his proudest accomplishment, no doubt, was his service in the U.S. Navy. His cousin, Bruce Wilhelmy, was a Naval Aviator Academy grad who won the Distinguished Flying Cross during the Cuban Missile Crisis. You read about that. He's actually highlighted in a movie. He was later killed in a training accident.
I would rent a trailer, bro, a U-Haul trailer.
Dad's uncle, Tom Sullivan, was a lieutenant in the Navy. Did 3 Mermanx runs during World War II, some of the most dangerous service in the U.S. Navy during the war. And I mentioned the Mermanx runs, and General, as you know, it's the 70th anniversary of the Chosin Reservoir battle right now. A lot of Americans don't know a lot about that battle. But I mention that because those are all very important cold weather operations that our Navy and Marine Corps did quite well at a critical moment in history. So, Mr. Secretary, perhaps you can begin by talking about the Navy's upcoming Arctic strategy to get back to the roots, whether Mermanx operations or Chosin Reservoir type operations, where we have a Navy and Marine Corps that can operate well and protect America's strategic interests in some of the coldest places in the world that are now increasingly becoming the places where great power competition are going to be taking place in the future.
Mr. Chairman, I would be happy to. As you know,
Yeah.
I'm a student of the Arctic.
That could
an
work, for
advocate
sure.
the Arctic. I first went to your great state as a U.S. Navy pilot stationed in Adak, Alaska at the Naval Air Station, and flew ASW missions.
If it's got bricks
throughout
in it
the
and all
Arctic
that,
Circle.
take that stuff
Most
out.
recently,
and
I was the U.S.
that'll
ambassador to
lighten
the
it
Kingdom
up
of
a lot.
Norway, and I spent most of my time above the Arctic Circle, right near Murmansk. And I've seen with my own eyes how the Arctic has changed in those 35 years. Today, it is navigable 365, and there are other nations in the world that have recognized its importance to us. And it should be an alarm to all of Americans as an Arctic nation that we should have a more formidable presence to ensure rule of law and freedom of the seas in that part of the world. Most recently, the USS John McCain was doing just that, a freedom of navigation exercise near the Bay of Peter the Great, and was engaged by a more assertive Russian Navy. The United States Navy, the United States Marine Corps, has had a recommitment to the Arctic. We operate in the Arctic today much more than we have historically, although, as you know, the Navy has operated consistently in the Arctic since the inception of our submarine force. It's just that you can't see our vessels. Today, we need that visible presence. As the Chief of Naval Operations talked about just a few moments ago, power projection, sea control, and the ability to ensure to our partners and allies and to our own people that we, the United States Navy, have that first and foremost in our minds. We are about to release an Arctic strategy that you and I talked about during our recent trip to Alaska, and the importance of how that blueprint will recommit ourselves in a much more visible way to activities in the Arctic. But we must recognize that if we don't step forward quickly, those who have challenged us on the stage of great power competition are there. I've seen it. Russia has remilitarized the Arctic. China has recommitted itself to build icebreakers, to be able to move its product from its homeland to Western markets in half the amount of time that it has historically had to. So the United States Navy, the United States Marine Corps, Senator, is committed to being present in the Arctic in a much more visible way than we've historically been.
Can I ask just two quick follow-ups, maybe for you and Admiral Gilday? The Russian exercise that I mentioned, it did catch our fishing fleet by surprise. I know that there's been an after-action, but you know, our fishing fleet was ordered out of the EEZ, which of course is our EEZ where they fish. Shouldn't be ordered out of that by Russians. They were buzzed, they were harassed. What are we doing in terms of an after-action to make sure that that doesn't happen again, that our fishing fleet, you know, my state is what I call the superpower of seafood. Almost, actually over 60% of all seafood harvested in America comes
If
from
you got
Alaska
an engine
waters.
hoist.
What are we doing to make sure
I've
that
done
that
that
doesn't
to get
happen
one
again?
out of a van.
I'm sorry, Mr. Secretary, do you have
And
any
a safe one.
any follow-up on the President's memorandum on icebreakers and home porting those in different parts of the Arctic?
Well, again, as I mentioned, the USS John McCain was just recently in the Arctic to ensure freedom of navigation, and I would invite the Chief of Naval Operations to go into a little more detail. Some of it, of course, is classified, as you and I have discussed, and the CNO and I would be happy to talk with you privately at any time that would be convenient to you, Mr. Chairman. You may know that I recently went to Finland to see the icebreakers in question. The President has directed us to purchase. We are looking within the Department of the Navy of how we can facilitate that. Part of commissioning those ships means that they become U.S. naval vessels, and there are requirements that we have to have U.S. naval personnel in command of those vessels. So I've asked the CNO to look into the process by which we can facilitate that. You and I agree we need to build icebreakers. We can't build them as quickly as we need them. Today, the Coast Guard maintains 2 icebreakers, and that's all that we have.
And one is broken.
Yes, sir. One is broken. So we do need icebreakers, and the Navy recognizes it's not a mission that is central to the United States Navy, but it's one that we rely on the Coast Guard to provide. And in this instance, per the executive order, we are looking in ways to procure those. So, CNO, do you have any thoughts you'd like to offer?
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Sir, in terms of the Navy's presence in the Arctic, the Navy and the Marine Corps, I'd say that over the past year we've done some 20 exercises in the high north. And so that ranges from unilateral joint exercises that the U.S. conducts alone, some of it in the training range in Alaska, to bilateral exercises with some of our closest allies and partners, to multilateral exercises. And so now our operations above in the high north are not extraordinary, but they're beginning to become part of our day-to-day business. And I think that's directly tied to the National Defense Strategy, the Chairman's role as the global integrator to posture the globe against those primary competitors, namely in this case, China and Russia, that would include the Arctic. With respect to the incident that happened in late August, I share your concern, Senator. I actually meet with the NORTHCOM commander later on this week. I know they're looking at what potentially happened with communication breakdowns, potentially to our fishermen, perhaps miscommunication between agencies in the U.S. government, but U.S. fishermen should not feel threatened by another nation and our own EEZ in terms of fishing. I think our continued presence up there will have some blunting effect to that, but I think perhaps more needs to be done, including through the Arctic Council, to have honest discussions.
Thank you, Evan. Senator King.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Secretary Braithwaite, I want to talk to you about the announcements you've made today about the First Fleet and the Atlantic Fleet. I'll spend 1 minute on the First Fleet and then 4 minutes on the Atlantic Fleet. So the First Fleet, as I understand your announcement, it will take the sizable real estate that is now covered by the Seventh Fleet out of Japan and divide it into 2 fleets because of increased activity at the seam between the Pacific and the Indian Oceans. Do I understand that correctly?
Yes, sir, that's exactly right.
And so this is something that you worked out with
Sweaty
ACOM, with the Seventh
motherfuckers.
Fleet, and you're still making decisions about
It's annoying, bro.
manpower, but it will likely be an expeditionary fleet without, at least at the start, a land-based HQ. Is that correct?
That is correct, yes, Senator.
Thank you. And that's to emphasize the growing importance of this region and the strategic alliances that the United States has with nations like India and others in the Quad in that part of the world.
That's exactly right, Senator. As you know, and you've traveled in that region, it's vast. And for the Seventh Fleet, which is home ported in Japan, although it's also sea base, it has formidable challenges to move all the way through the Western Pacific, down through the approaches of the Indian Ocean, all the way over to the Northern Arabian Gulf.
Right. Let me move to the Atlantic Fleet question, which affects Virginia significantly. So the Atlantic Fleet was the fleet headquartered in Norfolk until, I believe, Secretary Rumsfeld, during the War on Terror, reconstituted the Atlantic Fleet as the Fleet Forces Command. And it wasn't just a name change. There were some different areas of focus. Right before I came to the Senate in 2011, the Second Fleet, which was based in Norfolk and provided coverage in the Atlantic, was decommissioned because the United States perceived that Russia would no longer be a naval threat. Well, not so fast. In 2018, during my service on the committee, the Navy recommissioned the Second Fleet in Norfolk because of the increased Russian threat in the Atlantic. And so your proposal today to reconstitute the Fleet Forces Command, which was focused on the War on Terror, to the Atlantic Fleet, as I understand it, is to recognize the reality of this increased Russian presence and the fact that the great power competition is now sort of the dominant concern of the national defense strategy. Is that correct?
That is correct, Senator.
Let me ask this. My folks in Hampton Roads will wonder whether reconstituting Fleet Forces Command as the Atlantic Fleet will cause them either to lose jobs or personnel or investment levels in that region. Should they be worried about that?
No, Senator, there are no loss of jobs. There's no loss of revenue to the Tidewater region.
And I understand that you'll be going to the region to have discussions with folks in the area about this proposal that you've announced today.
I will. That is correct, Senator.
That's very helpful. So if I understand now, with the structure that you're putting on the table, the Pacific Fleet would have the first, third, and seventh fleets reporting through it, correct?
That is correct, yes, sir.
You're contemplating that the Fifth Fleet would still report through CENTCOM?
That is correct.
The Atlantic Fleet would have the second and fourth fleets reporting through it. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And you'd suggest the Sixth Fleet would be reporting through U.S. Forces Europe?
That is correct, yes.
Because that fleet does so much in tandem with NATO allies in that theater.
That's correct.
Okay. Let me ask now,
buddy?
Move to one other topic, and I'll save the others for a second round. Vaccine deployment.
Yes.
So we're grappling with a lot of vaccine deployment issues nationally, but also it's very, very critical that vaccine, thank goodness it's being developed rapidly, that the vaccine be deployed rapidly in a way that will keep our military forces active and healthy. Talk a little bit about the DoD discussions about vaccine deployment issues and how you're approaching it. And did you learn things with respect to how you did testing, wide testing through the DoD family, that have given you lessons about how to do vaccine deployment and how to phase the deployment of vaccines throughout the Navy and Marines?
Yes, sir, Senator. So I am extremely proud of the Department of the Navy. Both the Marine Corps and our Navy have done a phenomenal job in the aftermath of the lessons we learned from USS Teddy Roosevelt. And we are applying some of those lessons in the vaccines in the testing, as you mentioned, to what our rollout strategy will be around the vaccine. Of course, some of those discussions are still going on with the OSD team as we determine how quickly we will get those vaccines, how quickly we'll roll those out. I know the CNO is in discussions with our Surgeon General to how we will do that for the Navy as well as the Commandant for the Marine Corps. I would invite the CNO, if he had any thoughts on this specifically, to comment.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Sir, there are two related but separate plans that are in development right now, very closely with the CDC. And the first one deals with the distribution of vaccines. And so there are two that DOD is looking at. One is Moderna and the other is Pfizer. And as you probably know, the Pfizer requires, Pfizer is going to be shipped in GPS-tracked coolers.
Right, super refrigeration, yeah.
Right. And once it's thawed, it's good for about 5 days. And so the Pfizer medicine will be distributed here in CONUS to 10 different locations across the DoD. Every medical treatment facility in the military will receive that vaccine. And then we'll also have 3 or 4 out CONUS overseas locations that'll receive the Moderna vaccine, which is allowed to be refrigerated for up to 30 days. And so there's a little bit more flexibility. So the second piece of this is the vaccination plan itself. And it is kind of tied to lessons learned from testing. We actually developed a prioritization for testing. We were building the airplane as we were flying it, as we were trying to get testing capability out. This time we have a better sense of what that prioritization structure ought to look like. And at the top are healthcare workers, and then emergency and safety personnel at our installations. Those people are likely to come in contact with people that are infected. And then our strategic forces, and so think maybe your cyber mission forces, the crews on strategic missile submarines, and then the forces that will deploy within the next 3 months. And so we have a good count of what those numbers are, and if there's anything we're really good at, it's mass immunization in the U.S. military. And so we feel pretty confident, sir, that once we get the vaccine distributed, that the vaccination piece, now that we have the prioritization well thought out, will happen pretty quickly.
Great. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Senator Shaheen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you to each of you for being here this morning and for your service. Secretary Braithwaite, I want to follow up on the conversation you and Senator Sullivan were having about the importance of being able to operate in cold climates and the importance of the Arctic going forward. Because in New Hampshire, we have the U.S. Army's Cold Regions Research and Engineering Lab, and they do amazing research, and I wondered to what extent you share that kind of research across branches. Do you get information from the Army about research that's being done at Krell that would be helpful to the Navy?
We do, of course, under a new joint approach. The service secretaries and I, we talk. The service chiefs talk all the time, and our respective research arms have exchange and interplay as well.
Admiral Gilday, I appreciated your comments on the importance of our civilian workers,
Sorry.
especially at our shipyards. We've had the opportunity to visit the Portsmouth Naval Shipyard, and everyone appreciated that. I'm very interested in ensuring that the shipyard optimization plan goes forward as envisioned. Are you comfortable that the resources are going to be there to keep that plan on time? And what's been the impact, if any, of COVID-19?
With respect to the plan, ma'am, it's been a priority of the department and certainly the secretary since he's been in the seat. I will tell you, in terms of putting our money where our mouth is, right now across the 4 public yards, we have 9 MILCON projects that are underway. So 4 of those are up at Portsmouth. There's a couple in Puget Sound and a couple more in Hawaii and so forth. But those are progressing on track and funded. Across the FIDA, we've outlaid $3.5 billion, which is not which is not a trivial amount, given the fact that this is for PSYOP. Given the fact that our typical MilCon budget
Get
a
out
year is
of the
about $1
boat.
billion. So 3.5 over the FIDM. And that is progressing pretty well with respect to the work and the planning associated with it. It's a big project in Hawaii that we just made congressional notification a week ago. So I
This
am
lag,
confident
dude,
that we're
is so
heading in the right
fucking
direction.
annoying.
That is the right degree of prioritization
Shit
of
didn't
resources
happen last night.
against the plan, ma'am. With respect to the workforce itself, so the workforce, as you know, is an older workforce, and so we were very conservative, particularly in the spring, and we wanted to make sure that that safety was our number one priority. And so we did see probably with respect to production, we saw a dip in our production capability at the public yards with respect to the work that was being done. It went down to the 70s with respect to 70% of the workforce on the job every day. That's now back at 90%. When we look at lost man days with respect to that time period, it's about 2% of the man days across the 4 yards that we would expect to complete a year. So we have mitigation efforts in place. That includes overtime, which buys us back 2 or 3%. Contracting, so going to local contractors outside of those public yards that can do some of that work for us. And also we've mobilized about 1,300 reservists that have unique skill sets that we could bring into the yard. So the mitigation plan, again, safety first, and right now we're watching it very closely. But I think that we are stable right now. I would describe our repair efforts in the public yards as stable. Very comfortable with where we are.
And so do you expect to be delayed in terms of where we had hoped to be with the optimization plan as
No,
the
ma'am.
result of COVID?
I have not seen any delays to MilCon projects as a result of COVID. I'm sure that there have been some slight delays, but nothing that has popped the red flag at my level to raise significant concern.
Good, thank you. Also, this is, I think, both for you, Admiral, and for the Secretary. One of the challenges that we have is our shrinking industrial base as we look at the needs going forward. And I assume that COVID is going to have an impact on that. I know we have small businesses in New Hampshire that are part of our defense industrial base in the state that are facing real challenges as the result of this pandemic. Are you concerned about the impact of the pandemic on more of those businesses that we're going to rely on for our industrial base? And do you have any thoughts about how we can do more to ensure that we have the support that we need through the industrial base?
So, Senator, as you and I, as I mentioned to you, I'm a product of Philadelphia and the shipyard closure there, and what a negative impact that it has had, not just on the greater Philadelphia region, but on our industrial base writ large across our country. We need to protect every shipyard we have. The Chinese, ma'am, have 25 shipyards to our one. And I'm a student of history, and when you go back and you see the element that kept the United States capable during World War II was our industrial might. It was our ability to build back the ships that we were losing. We need to maintain the sacred industrial base that we have today. I would give kudos to our Assistant Secretary of Defense, Jim Gertz, who has done an incredible job of crafting a plan to look to those second and third tier suppliers to ensure that there is consistency in getting the product into the yards. As the CNO has indicated, our shipyard workers, both in our public yards and in our private yards, have done an amazing job of continuing to be there, engaged through the fact that they're dealing with antiquated systems, they're dealing with older ships that require more work, and especially in the midst of a global pandemic. They've done a phenomenal job. As the CNO has indicated, we really haven't missed a beat. We'll have some slowdowns, I'm sure, and CNO can go into some more detail on that. But overall, I believe that the Department of the Navy has a great record under the leadership of Jim Gertz of doing the work to ensure that we have consistency to those yards.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple of comments to amplify some things that the Secretary said. I think that the apprenticeship programs that we have that are associated with each of our shipyards and local community colleges, whether it's Hawaii or Washington or New Hampshire or Virginia, have been phenomenal. And so those 4-year programs that produce some of the best and brightest in the yards that hopefully we can keep around for 30 years, because it is a family business in many cases. It's eye-watering to meet those young people. Actually, they're not just young people. They're people from all walks of life, and some of them are middle-aged that just have decided that they want to give more back to the country. But that program collectively produces about 1,000 workers a year, and over the past 3 years, we've increased the number of shipyard workers from about 33 to 36,000, almost 37,000. So we have been on the increase, and we are changing that demographic. As you know, there are a lot of there are either young people in the shipyard or there's older people in the shipyard, but we missed a generation, and so we're trying to rebuild. I'm very optimistic about where we're headed with the workforce. And when you visit those shipyards, I know that you do, it is an uplifting experience when you meet those people, salt of the earth, and you love what they're doing. With respect to the supply chain, it remains a concern for us. And so I would say, Senator Kaine mentioned this during his opening remarks. With respect to opportunities that we've seen during COVID, the relationship that we have, the opaqueness that's dissolved with vendors during COVID has been something that I have not seen in my career. Again, as the Secretary said, Assistant Secretary Gertz can speak to this in more detail, but we have our eye on more than 250,000 parts, and you know it only takes one to take down a ship or an aircraft or a submarine. But we have our eye on those vendors that are struggling and other vendors that are coming, that have stepped up to fill the gap in places. And so we've seen a bit of both. We've seen some failures that have been troubling. We've also seen some great innovation.
Well, thank you. Certainly ensuring that those businesses get paid as expeditiously as possible is really important right now. And I know that that's been a focus of DOD. So thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Gentlemen, I'm going to have to step out for a brief minute. Senator Kaine will be taking over, but I will, I'm sure we're going to have a number of additional questions. We have a number of senators on the line as well, so I'm going to next call on Senator Hirono.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And before you leave, I would like to also extend my condolences to you, the loss of your dad.
Thank you.
Mr. Secretary, you were talking a bit about the Arctic, and this would be a yes or no question. Is it time for the United States to ratify, or the Senate to ratify UNCLOS? Mr. Secretary?
Yes, no, Senator. I think we need to do some more work to make sure that it's the right time, to be very honest with you.
Oh, UNCLOS has been hanging around for decades, and I would say it is the right time, especially as I think our country is, disadvantaged by not being part of UNCLOS, especially as the Arctic is seeing a lot more activity, shall we say. And I think one of the reasons that the Arctic has become navigable is because of global warming. For General Berger, I would like to offer my condolences, General, for the 8 Marines and 1 sailor who tragically perished in an AAB accident in the end of July. And I realize that the investigation is occurring. Can you tell me when the investigation into this accident will be completed?
The initial portion of the investigation is done, ma'am. And I think probably within 30 days the endorsement chain will be complete.
So since the initial phase has been done, can you tell us what led to this accident very briefly?
I cannot, ma'am, because I have not seen the investigation. As long as it remains in the endorsement chain, in respect of the due process, I don't poke into that. We did take, as you're well aware, ma'am, we took initial measures within the first 30 days. But as far as the final recommendations, the final opinions and recommendations, I have not seen them yet.
So I know that the vehicle that was involved in the accident is to be replaced by the ACVs. So we probably would need to get some kind of an update on how all of that is going. Back to Mr. Secretary, I don't want to get into a long discussion with you, but it came as news to me that I thought I heard you say that you are taking some ships from the 7th Fleet based in Japan to be located in the Indian Ocean. Is that what you said? This is a proposal, or
No.
is it already being implemented?
No, Senator. That's not what I said. We are going to recommission the First Fleet, which, like the Seventh Fleet, would operate in the greater Pacific region under the command and control of the United States Pacific Fleet, headquartered in Hawaii. It wouldn't necessarily take ships from the Seventh Fleet or from the Third Fleet. It would be a sharing. That's how our numbered fleets operate, predicated on the demand and the threat that emanates in that part of the ocean in which those respective fleets operate. The First Fleet would be expeditionary. We are still determining where, from where that fleet would operate from, but its major focus would be on the Western Pacific and the Eastern Indian Ocean.
So, Mr. Secretary, is this a proposal, or has a decision already been made to do this?
Yep, the decision has been made, yes. Under my title.
And did I hear you say that that this was in consultation with the Indo-PACOM people?
It is in consultation with Indo-PACOM through the Chairman's office and the Office of Secretary of Defense.
Thank you. And you were asked some questions about the importance of the continuation of the modernization program at the shipyards, and so I just want to reiterate my support of the importance of going ahead with those plans, even though I know with COVID we've had delays, etc., because of manpower issues related to COVID. Let me turn to you once again. You visited Palau, which was, I think that was very important. You were the first, I believe, Secretary of the Navy to visit Palau in October, and you emphasized the importance of U.S. military presence in the Indo-Pacific as, of course, China continues its destabilizing activities in the area. So the recent activation of the Marine Corps' Camp Blas in Guam is also an important part of the military's force laydown in this region. I wanted to ask you, can you provide some insight into how the U.S. and Palau can build on that, on our partnership with Palau through joint use facilities in the Pacific? Because I believe that the new president of Palau has written to us saying that he would welcome that kind of effort.
Yes, Senator, thank you for the question. I'd never been to Palau before.
I'm sorry.
No, I went as Secretary of the Navy, a beautiful country. I'd never been there before. I was a Navy pilot, and I flew extensively throughout the Western Pacific, but I've never been to the beautiful islands of Palau, and what a gorgeous country it is. And the thing that struck me, I went in the wake of Secretary Esper. He and I had discussed the opportunity to not only reassure those who are partners and allies like Palau, who is on the cutting edge, the tip of the spear of Chinese aggression in that part of the world, that we are with them. I personally went with members of my team to look at the infrastructure there, to see how we could support U.S. naval vessels operating periodically from there. During my trip,
What's
I
up,
also
Bullet?
visited Guam, Senator.
How are you?
In the same reasons, to see how we could ensure a more forward presence of naval forces and enhance our presence.
I didn't know if you were awake yet.
And that process is ongoing. Palau continues, as you have said, to be receptive to receiving more U.S. naval vessels. While I was there, we had some operating in the region. I was able to interact with them. And
What's that?
The support that they received was, again, indicative of
kind of
Pacific
miserable
Island
outside.
nations. Also, as I think through the uniqueness of Palau, their COVID
Won quite a few today.
one of the things that we're
One
able
dude,
to
man, I
allow
made him
is
really work
our
for it. I
sailors
wouldn't do a build
and
fight with him,
deployed on ships without
but he kept trying to stay up and then sneak down, and I'd shoot him, and then he'd go back up and heal him and come back down. Then finally at the end, he had to come down, and I shot the shit out of it.
It would be almost bubble to bubble to be able to see our ships go.
I was on a roll then, dude. I won like 2 games in a row, 3 out of 5.
Is a nation that we need to continue to support, and
One of them, though,
recognize,
the ending had to have been
their
bots,
partnerships and
dude.
friendships with us.
They were like running for the
Yes, I
bullets.
hope that they'll do more with all of our companies.
They were like, I'm next. I'm coming for the bullet. Them one bots are hard, though, dude. They are lasers.
I was just saying, Senator
My
Hall,
time being called.
Oh, no, the game
need
lagged
to
out.
move to Senator Duckworth.
Okay, thank you so much.
Did you
Thank
leg
you,
out?
Senator Herrera.
Yeah,
Back
did
out?
you?
Senator Duckworth, I believe,
No,
is with
I'll
us
back
by
out.
via
I
WebEx.
don't know what happened.
Yes,
The game's
thank
stuck.
you so much, Senator Kane. I want to open by acknowledging the Department of the
Game's
Navy's
been getting
leadership
laggier and laggier the past
in
couple
removing the
hours.
flag from Navy and Marine Corps installations. Commandant Berger, you specifically.
Yeah, I'm stuck. I
led the
can't
way for
do
other
anything.
military services, in a move that I felt
Yeah, I
displayed
backed out.
great concern for all of your Marines.
Yeah,
and
I'm gonna
sailors
restart
and
it.
Great personal moral
The game.
courage. Your expectation that the Marines and sailors assist you in rooting
Oh,
out
it just
symbols
crashed.
that cause division in the ranks sets a clear standard of leadership, and this is a readiness issue, and I think you have made that very clear. Additionally, your recognition that the Confederate Army's battle flag can cause feelings of, and I quote, pain and rejection, plainly states a truth that other senior leaders have failed to acknowledge for so long. The Confederate flag was carried by those who took up arms against the United States to keep Black Americans in chains. It's imperative that all of our service members feel welcome and valued. Banning displays of the Confederate flag shows respect for Black service members who already face well-documented barriers to service in the military and inclusions in the ranks. Commandant, your actions represent one of the many important steps that our armed services can take to improve the inclusion of all service members, as well as discipline and unit cohesion. I applaud your leadership, and I also applaud you, Admiral Gilday, for your subsequent call for a Navy order banning the display of the Confederate flag from public spaces aboard Navy installations. Now that I begin with my question, I actually want to focus on a region that is personally important to me, Southeast Asia in particular. The National Defense Strategy, the NDS, focuses significant attention on countering the rise of China and our own readiness to operate in this large geographically
Had an
diverse,
update.
distributed, and maritime region is absolutely key to executing the vision that is laid out in the NDS. General Berger, I was pleased to see you acknowledgement in your written statement that our operational logistics system, both ground and aviation, is insufficient to meet the challenges posed by peer and near-peer conflict, especially in the Indo-Pacific. I'm very concerned about our ability to sustain our troops while they execute the vision of warfighting that's laid out in the NDS. But the logistics function of warfighting receives far less attention than fires and maneuver. Your admission that the Marine Corps has works to do when it comes to logistics gives me greater confidence that you are thinking realistically about this problem set. I think that your recognition that readiness, particularly in the Indo-Pacific, implies more than simply maintaining legacy equipment is a really important one. As services plan to operate in smaller, more distributed formations across a large and geopolitically complex region, perhaps with limited comms, it's clear that the military services will have to rethink the way they sustain warfighters in theater. General Berger, from your perspective, what are the biggest challenges to reforming the Marine Corps' current operational logistics to meet the needs of distributed war Pacific? Sorry for the long preamble.
I think I understand the question, Senator.
That was a weird jump.
We have a big challenge because two factors, I think. One is the distances, which you highlighted. The second is that we've enjoyed a protected backside in terms of our logistics chains for 70 years. We have not been challenged. We are now. We have to assume that any adversary is going to contest our logistics supply chains. So we have, in terms of what do we have to do about it, I'll offer just 2 or 3 thoughts. First of all, we got to be able to distribute laterally at the tactical to operational level sustainment, supplies, equipment, people in a way we have not been challenged to do in the past. And we got to do it in a contested environment. And by contested, I mean in a region where an adversary can see us and can interdict you. So we have to have everything from the surface craft to the aircraft, and probably in the future, I would suspect a fair portion of that being.
I had an update, I guess.
Have better distribution mechanisms than we have right now.
Yeah, had a little tiny update, and then it was fine.
We've enjoyed a secure line all the way back to CONUS, as you pointed out, for years. has not been challenged. That is a challenge. That's now
Been
become
on
the
all
problem.
day though.
So from the strategic to the operational, we got to push the supplies forward, and then operationally to tactical. Laterally, we are going to need different means to.
I haven't
move
played
supplies
all
and
day,
equipment
but
laterally
on and
within
off.
the second or first Allen chain, or within Europe, or within CENTCOM.
I do have the stream running, so
Well, thank you. So, are there policies or programs that my colleagues and
I have the
should be
Navy
considering at
readiness
our
thing they
level
were
to
talking
address
about
these
today
challenges and
in
better adapt to an
hearings,
environment
playing
style of warfighting that is very different
pretty
from
interesting
what we see in
stuff.
Afghanistan and Iraq? So, what can we do here at our level?
They're
here at the Senate
preparing for
in terms
war,
of particular
bro.
programs that will help you basically bring your readiness level in those logistical networks, especially when
They're
you're
looking
talking
to
about
back
outside of the
Russia
direct
off in
contested
the
environment.
oceans
What can we do
and
for
deal
you?
with
Are there
China
particular
and
programs that you would emphasize?
build some more icebreakers and
There are, man.
junk a ship that's no good,
The combination
and
of
preparing for
oversight
COVID
and
readiness.
unmanned surface and aerial systems is probably
Or what I call
There are others, but if you ask me here, I would say
They get their
that one
approval,
comes to mind.
emergency approval.
We have to move very quickly.
Yeah, it's what I call and others call and the military calls Rex 84.
Aerial systems that'll move those supplies. We'll never get
It's
there
gonna get interesting.
relies only on unmanned systems. We have a lot of learning to do there. We have a lot of
You getting
experience.
laggy stuff or
But if there's one area I'd ask for support there,
No.
that would be it.
no? Mine might be with the stream. I need to tinker with
Admiral
some
Gilda, if
shit,
you
I
wanna
think.
Weigh in, just Admiral Gilda, you can weigh in, and then I will move to Senator Jones if that's okay, Senator.
I don't know. I haven't been over here yet.
Yeah, my next question was actually going to be.
Yeah, you gotta beat down a structure, I think.
Thank you, ma'am. I appreciate the opportunity.